Okay, which brings us to the guard arm bars. So, and of all these things, like once you learn the fundamental ones and start like understanding what the mechanics are of an arm bar, you can switch it at any time. So just like we learn this lapel choke here, sometimes it helps, like in an arm bar, to learn it the same thing in the mount. So like I explained earlier, it's good to think of the mount as your guard upside down. And when I have a guy in the guard, I want to have the feeling like I mounted him. So as I apply this choke, some people say, and I believe in both of these schools of thought, that you want to post your fist on the mat to where if he goes to move, I'm pinning him on the mat by his D. Whereas if I'm holding here, he can move around and stuff. That's one school of thought. Sometimes, depending on who I'm rolling with, that way works better. Other times not. But the key is I'm looking for these arteries in the choke. And I want to be able to do that same choke in the mount, which we'll get back to in a bit because we are in the guard, which is an upside down mount. But we want an arm bar now. And when you can't get a lock or a sweep, you start a choke. It's like chokes are one of the most neglected things in there, which is why I call them the ABCs. A, always be, B, C, choking. Always be choking. Always be squeezing your opponent's neck. Put that Powerade down. While I'm attempting a choke and he's doing all the blocking, I'm looking for where I can catch an arm. I'm looking for a slight posture break or any of that. But before we do that, we're going to run through the 3 fundamental routes and ways to learn an armbar. And ideally, all arm bars end up in the same spot. What is that spot? It's my leg around here controlling his head, this one controlling the body, and my hips controlling the shoulders. So try to move around, like lean into me. I'm blocking the stack, because all I want it to be, all I got to do is that. If his arm's bent, he's protecting it. All I got to do is this, and I got with the armbar. So all arm bars kind of end in that spot. The first one I like to teach, very sport basic, is I'm controlling the sleeves. No gi the wrists, because I don't want to get punched. I just don't want to start reaching like this, where his hands are free. I'm controlling the sleeves. I'm going to reach across and hook the elbow. I'm aware of that hand doing an overhand strike, and I could like bump it out of the way. Go ahead, punch. I could bump the arm out of the way. So I'm here. Sometimes I turn this way, and I'm blocking the arm here when I reach across. And I want to get that elbow basically to the other side of my hip. I'm pulling it across. Then I'm going to reach up back, and I'm going to hold him down. No gi, I'm hooking the back of his neck. He wants to posture escape my armbar. Do it? Can't. I'm keeping it tight. Then I allow my hip to move with my leg, where I'm flaring it out and clamping. And once I clamp, I'm flaring out my foot to stop a stack. If I just hold here, stack, ugh. But when I flare the foot, stack into me, he can't. Some guys prefer to cross ankles and open the knees, which also blocks a stack. Stack, that does block as well. But I've always preferred this version, stack me. To really lean it in there. He can't. And I want to even let you get to here. Go ahead and go. And feel where I can guide your head. And it's almost like all guard arm bars, I'm moving in the direction to mount the arm bar. And usually they tap long before you get to mount it. So I'm here, I reach across, I pull. I either hook the back of the neck or the armpit. Which is a really good drill. Back in the early MMA days, this was somewhere shortly after probably UFC 5 or 10 or whatever it was. I helped train an American wrestler who later went on to become a legend. Now, of course, if the guy was punching me, I would have been destroyed, but he could not pass on my guard, and I caught him in a climbing armbar, like after 20 minutes of hard rolling. I was so impressed. Now, again, if he was raining knuckles, I would have been knocked out. But so then after that, I always taught, as a drill, he'll just kind of relax here in neutral posture, drilling posture, and I'm going to practice climbing up his body like I'm shimmying up a pole. I'm going to climb into an armbar. Look, Mom, no hands, right? I'm climbing up, keeping control of him until it becomes an armbar. So sometimes I think of it more as a drill. I'm working to where I could just climb up. So it's like I'm climbing a pole. Because how we lose arm bars is our legs get loose like we're going to fall. I want to have that feeling that I'm climbing. So even if I'm just holding here, go. Like defend, like move around. You see, I'm just getting that climb. And you climb into the arm bar. Make sense?
Yeah.
The flash arm bar. Again, they all end up the same. That's where I go from 0 guard to arm bar in a flash. And the flash arm bar is I'm here and 2 arm bar. Yeah. Just reach up and grab. And I'm feeling like I'm grabbing the neck in the same way that if I was doing a headlock. If I'm holding his head here, like move around, grapple, step, I don't have anything. But if I'm holding the head, go ahead and move around. Now I'm controlling. I want my leg to be controlling the head. This is key. Body leg's important, but the head leg is key. And I'm driving all arm locks mountward. And much like in the mount thing, we're over here. He's protecting his arm. It's kind of that same feel of where I'm finding where I can disconnect. If I pull against where he's strong, it doesn't work. But if I lever it to where it's weak, I can catch the arm. So I want to have the same feeling with a choke and an arm bar as I do whether it's a mount or a guard. Getting that ready, so I can either do the flash arm bar. If you're battling, we're doing this battle. When in doubt, I have a choker. I move to a sweep. You start counting that into the arm bar. Back to a choke. The 3-pronged attack. Lock, choke, sweep left side. Lock, choke, sweep right side. Nestled in the environment of, I'm going to take your back, and if you're not holding me down, I'm coming to the top.